Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, whoa, now I'm like 30 seconds. Oh, geez.
Green room, green room.
Green room, green room.
I
Oh,
will not be able to read the comments tonight, so you'll have to keep me on track with comments. Hello, everybody. We're glad you're with us. I know we're live. I just can't see you. So,
yes, indeedy, we are live. And oh, I've got that. I was showing you earlier. I've got that new necklace and set on that I love so much. Look at this.
very cool.
Yay. And you know, a new thing I'm doing on Facebook. Have you seen the reels? Reels?
I've seen reels and I've seen a couple of your short things that you put out, but if you
Yeah.
put out something new, I haven't seen it. So,
Yeah. Hi, Kristen. Kristen Godwin's on.
hey,
Um,
Kristen.
I just started doing those. I've made 30 so far, and they're just a short clip. They're almost like TikTok, but it's on Facebook.
Right.
And I did one. There's Teresa Staples. Yay,
Hey,
Teresa.
Teresa.
And June's on too. I did one with this because what I
Right.
was teaching in my class earlier today is to try to use your content. So when this came yesterday, I did a live unboxing. Then
Right.
I did a bunch of pictures. Then I turned the pictures into a reel. And then I'm using the pictures as a post too. So I'm trying to use, if I make content for something, I'm trying to reuse it in a bunch of ways.
That's an
So
excellent way to do it.
yeah, I think you have to kind of try to do that because you need so much content for something to stick.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? For something to get
Plus,
traction.
plus, it's a great way. A lot of your customers are going to follow you on Facebook, so it's a great way for anybody who's indirect sales if they can do little posts like that, little 30 to 60-second content, and get it out there. It's a way that their audience feels connected with them. And even though you're not standing there with someone, when someone sees a video of you doing something, they feel that connection almost like you are there with them. It's like when we watch
Hmm.
our favorite TV shows over the years and we begin to feel like the characters are almost a regular part of our life. And then when the show gets canceled, we're bummed out. It's the
Yeah.
same principle.
And you know, the pictures I've been using, how we were talking about it on the send out cards training,
Right.
is I took the pictures of the jewelry. And when I send a thank you note to a customer, I usually put stock pictures of Avon products. And now I'm including some of my pictures of me wearing the jewelry that I used for the content because customers have said to me, it feels more like you're in person showing me stuff when you send me stuff like that.
Right. Right.
So that's true. Oh, Peg's on. Peg's the one.
Hey,
She was
Peg.
on the show at one
Cool.
and was giving us awesome social media tips. As a matter of fact, I forgot that them guys wouldn't understand her credentials. And I had everybody tell because they're thinking she's just a random person. And I'm like, well, no, she actually knows a whole bunch
Yeah,
about
she's
social
far from
media.
random.
Yeah, right. Kristen said your lipstick is on point. Oh, thank you. You know what this is? That lip lacquer stuff that's hard to get off.
Hmm.
This is the awesomest lipstick ever. And I'm not into makeup, but this stuff, you have to have special makeup remover to get it off.
Really? I've
Yeah.
never had that trouble with my lipstick ever.
I bet you haven't. I bet you had some getting it off like a cheek, right? Like,
Maybe so at one point in my life.
maybe so. Maybe
I'm
so.
going to plead the fifth.
I'm sure you are.
Oh, had a great time in New Orleans. I was in New Orleans
Ooh, what'd you do?
Saturday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then now I'm actually in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Had such a great time. We went there with two other couples. Uh, I went to one of the locations that I write about in the new book. Kind of like how we put Blue Hair on Poipu Beach to start off with, and then came
Yeah.
back to Texas, and then back to Poipu Beach. Well, the entire setup for Streetwise to Saleswise is in New Orleans, and I build the storyline about a young guy who has a smart mouth and gets his rear end fired over it, and has to start in sales, and he's not ready for that. But he sees a street musician, a busker, that's what they're called, and I wrote it, the location, and I wrote the ambiance of the thing, and I went to the restaurant and to the corner that inspired me to do that.
Oh,
And
nice.
I was really hoping that the busker would be there too, because there was a busker who was singing. It really just kind of got my imagination going about things. And she wasn't there, but it was a great experience to do that. And we did all the usual New Orleans things, the Cafe du Monde, and
And the hurricane. Uh,
I had one or two
Patrick. Yeah.
hurricanes.
Hey, now the busker. Now you got me going here. This is a marketing thing. The
Yeah,
busker.
right.
She's a real person.
Uh, I saw a busker who inspired the story. I don't know her, so it's not like it's the same thing as being
No,
that.
no,
But
no, no. This is good. Now, after the book comes out and you have a hard copy in your hand, you've got to go there and give her the book and have pictures taken and stuff
I'm
and
not
tell
sure I
her
can do that.
why.
There may be some sort of issue with what's the right way to say it? You have to be very careful of when you write something about using real life people or real life locations because of copyright.
But you can't say inspired.
I,
Seeing
I, I,
you there inspired me.
I can, but I'm one of these people that try to avoid putting myself in positions where I can get my rear end sued later. So
Oh, live a little, man.
use the naughty rule. By the way, I don't have my normal coffee glass, so I'm drinking iced tea.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. And Jean, is it Jean Porter or Jeannie? Jean or Jeannie Porter's on. Maureen's on. Penny's on. And Peg says, I'm random, all right. And Janelle's on. And Facebook user said, hey. Facebook user that said, hey, put your name because it's not showing me. It's just showing me Facebook user at the moment. So that's awesome. No, it's funny. I know you got in trouble for that one thing that one time, but I've done an awful lot of stuff and got in trouble too, and it always works out. Even
Yeah. Well,
the time that you had to pay, though, it's worth it
we'll
because
table
you
that
told that
topic.
story. Hmm?
We'll table that idea for now.
Okay, we'll table that idea.
We'll bring it up again at the next meeting.
You need, you need me to go with you to find the busker?
No.
I could bring an entourage of press with me.
That would probably make the likelihood of someone saying, "Wait, you can't use me in a story," even that much higher. So.
Oh, you can't. Yeah, okay. Oh,
And I didn't use her in a story. She
no,
was so great and she inspired me, and then my
but
imagination ran with a
it
story.
could go the other way. Okay, so now, okay, when I when I adopted Bo, right?
Right. Right.
The rescue
You're
said
talking about your cat, or
the dog.
not like a dog, but not the person out on the street named Bo. You're talking.
I'm talking about Bo the dog. Okay,
Oh, the dog. I get confused.
when
You got so many. You're a menagerie.
a menagerie. All right. Okay, when I adopted the dog, right? I asked them who was the person that found him
Right.
because I wanted to send them a thank you card for finding him, and they
Mhm.
said they don't give that out because people don't like it when you contact them and they're afraid that they'll get sued and all this stuff.
Right.
A year and something later, I was looking through the envelope and found the name and address of some person, and I didn't know it was the one that found him, but I took a chance and sent her a card. It turned out fabulous. She was so excited to get a card from me that had pictures of Bo in it, and I said Bo's got his own boy, and has Alex with Bo on the front cover. She was so excited that she wrote me right away and everything. So that couldn't have ended better, but it could have ended worse. But to me, it was worth the risk
Well, see, there's a
because
difference, though, Lisa. There's a difference
okay.
because you didn't take Bo out to make money and have a
Oh, you're
successful
thinking.
launch of something that you made money on with Bo.
So you're thinking that the busker will want to sue you for profits from the book because you.
I don't think this is a decision that I'll.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
would like moving on to the next topic, there, partner. All right.
Okay. No, I think from I only think about promotion. I think about, well, and that's a perfect,
And
I saw that
and you
today.
are brilliant about promotion. That's it's a skill
You know,
set that you have that's great.
before I met you, my motto was relentless self-promotion.
Yeah, and you're like a bulldog. Once you get on a topic, you are not going to leave it the hell alone, are you?
But in the send out cards thing today, one of them said, "You must be your own hype man."
That's
And
true.
that is what I've been doing all this time. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Don't worry, I'm not gonna go.
Well, speaking of snowmobiles, how's
Yeah,
that for a
let's
segue?
segue right into that. Okay. Oh, even Janet said, "Move on, Lisa."
Please, Janet,
Okay.
please, thank you.
Okay, okay. Yeah, speaking of snowmobiles, oh, what we were talking about before is that, yeah, my last ex, let's number them. Let's wear a football shirt so I can really keep track of them. Sometimes gave me a hard time because I would buy all the jewelry or whatever. And one time I said to him, "Do you realize this is costume jewelry, all of it? If I added all my jewelry together, it's not as much as that snowmobile you got sitting out there." So,
I
ladies, if you're having that problem, use that line. That works. And you want
pick
to
your
talk
husband's
your
favorite toy and say this is not even as much as that. It's like my
yeah.
golf clubs. You haven't spent anywhere near. Well, I don't know what you spent on jewelry, but I probably spent more on my golf clubs. So,
I bet you have.
but I
So
love
let's hear
snowmobiles.
the snowmobile story because I don't remember this. How bad was it?
Well, I love snowmobiles, and I don't ski worth a flip, but I can get on a snowmobile and I can go on tours and all that. And I had done several tours up on Lake Tahoe on snowmobiles, and a friend of mine and I decided we were going to do the off the trail tour, and they called that particular one Top of the Top. And it was you're still led by a guide, but they don't get on the trails so much, and you're in meadows and you're jumping because you can hit those moguls and you'll jump up, 6, 8 feet in the air and come back down in the snow. It's a blast. Well, I was doing that, and as I came down, I was a little bit to the left of where I'd started, which put me kind of going down the side of a hill. It
Oh,
wasn't like a steep cliff or anything, but it was definitely a pretty steep hill, and I couldn't lean it back in. I couldn't get it turned around, and so the next thing you know, I'm heading toward a tree,
oh
and
no.
I jump off at the last minute. So I'm in the snow and I roll around in the snow. But the snowmobile hits the tree, and the tree's like this, and the snowmobile is angled down at the bottom of the tree, rear end sticking up like that. And the challenge was they didn't notice that I had done that, and they kept
Oh,
going.
oh no.
Yeah, and
Oh,
they were gone probably 10 or 15 minutes before they realized it. And how it changed. A friend of mine who was also on that same tour got up there close enough to get their attention and waved them down and got one of them to come back and says, "We lost somebody back there." So I'm waiting there, and I finally hear the machine coming toward me. I wish I had thought to do this part, but I didn't. But it would have made the story better. I wish I had thought when they got close, lay down in the middle of the stuff,
that would have been good.
and just really mess with them. Anyway, but the guy, he and I pulled the snowmobile off from the base of the tree together. He got it cranked enough that he could take it back to the thing, and then I got on his snowmobile. Well, I was married to my first wife, April, at that point, and she was on the normal tour, where it was just you stayed on the trail and it was an easy tour. She was signed up to do that a couple of hours after I was on the off the trail tour. When she got there, she she told them her name, and then when she said her last name, they said, "Are you related to Jeff West?" And she said, "Oh Lord, what's he done now?" And they said, "Well, we call him Ricochet West now."
Ricochet.
And I had to pay them. I had to pay to have the machine fixed. No.
Oh no. You did tell me this now that you say.
It was it was
Part
it
I
was one of my
remember.
favorite memories. I'm just glad I lived through it to remember it.
Yeah, you could be like Sonny Bono, who ended up.
He did. It was
Yeah.
very close to where that happened to Sonny Bono. Actually, it was very
Oh
close to that.
no, that's
Yeah,
bad. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know about you, but I've never had like a dying need to strap wood planks to my feet and throw myself down a mountain. And
Well, I've
no,
tried it before because my wife Laurie likes to ski, and we've been on Aflac trips where they would ski.
whiskey.
I'm just terrible at it, and I don't enjoy it. My ankles start hurting, and I don't enjoy it. I tried the last time I tried it. I did a little bit better. I did get up we went up the lift, and as I got up, I face planted off the chair. People were pulling me out of the way so the next people could get off. And then I got up, and I just kind of took it nice and easy. And I fell a few times, but I was able to get down the mountain. And once was enough. Everybody else was going like 8 and 9 times. I said, okay, I did it once. Here are the skis back. Where's the bar?
Yeah, I think that's the part I'd like is the bar.
I am good at not falling off a bar stool. Not so good at not falling off skis.
Janelle said that's like my husband gives me a hard time about how many shoes she has, and I have lost count how many fishing poles he has. That's a good one.
That was Janelle that said that?
Janelle said that, Janelle Bixler. And Facebook user, which I don't see your name, years ago my uncle was skiing and ran into a tree. Ow.
It hurts.
Yeah, I bet it does. They got little bitty hills here, and all the kids take ski lessons in school.
Right.
And stuff. That's part of the thing.
Janelle, I have to tell you a story. If your husband is ever giving you a problem about the shoes, you might as well tell you the story. Just remember it in case it's handy for you in the future. We were on a trip one time. Some friends were getting married, and it was a destination wedding, so we flew over there. And we're around the table. It's like the night before the wedding. Still a big reception dinner and all that. And one of the ladies was telling a story about how she had spent $700 on a pair of shoes.
One pair?
One pair. And she was totally freaking out, knowing when her husband got home, the stuff was going to hit the fan. And so she had called the girl that was getting married. They were really good friends. And this, of course, the story happened before the wedding. But she said, so I called Janessa. I said, what do I do? What do I do? And Janessa said, look, this is going to be okay. When he gets home, you meet him at the door wearing the shoes and nothing else.
You won't even know the shoes.
And her husband said, those are my favorite pair of shoes she's ever bought.
That's a good tip right there.
That's an excellent tip. We're talking marketing now.
Yeah. Try that one, Janelle. Janelle's comment before you started was, this will be good. That was good. And Peg said the Facebook user is Eunice. Hey, Eunice.
Hey, Eunice.
Yeah, Eunice from Maine. She's not too well. I say she's not too far from me, but she's far from me, just not compared to you.
Well, in Texas, it's 820 something miles from one corner to the other, so far is all relative.
Right. That's a long ways. And where are you now? Right now?
Right now, I'm actually in Gulf Shores, Alabama, on my way to Florida.
Whoa, nice.
I'll be spending, let's see, a little over 2 weeks in Florida.
Hey, did you stay at some swanky hotel in New Orleans?
Actually, what we did, we stayed at a little boutique hotel one night before the rest of the couples got there. Mm-hmm. That was right off of Dauphine Street, if I remember right. It's close to Bourbon Street. Mm-hmm. And then when everybody else got there, we actually went to a place that it's a B&B, and it's on Frenchman Street. And that's not necessarily, it's not it's literally, it's at the end of Bourbon Street, mm-hmm. But it's not, it's not the area that I would have necessarily gone to, but I'm so glad we did. It was a 3-bedroom home. It's in one of those old looking buildings in New Orleans, but we had a wraparound balcony.
Oh, and nice.
There's live music playing almost all the time.
Oh, wow.
And so we didn't have to go in the clubs. We would literally sit out on the balcony and drink our coffee, and we would listen to the music live, and it was such a blast. And then we walked most places we went. We rarely got in the car, and it was a very good experience. Although I did do one really bonehead thing, using my kidneys here. I parked the car in a long-term parking lot for overnight. Paid like $56 to park overnight. It was stupidly crazy. And then the next morning I go out to renew the parking, and my car had a boot on it. And what had happened, there were 2 parking lots side by side, and I saw one machine, so that's where I paid. I paid my parking fee of $56 to the machine that was for the other lot,
Oh
and,
no.
and didn't pay for the one I had. The one I had was like $25 if I
Oh
paid that one.
no.
But then it became that plus $130
Oh
fine.
no. And you had to wait for them to come take the boot off.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh no.
yeah.
Oh
Could have been
no.
worse.
Yeah,
Car
it could be
wasn't the,
worse.
the car was safe. Everything was fine. Could have been worse.
Um, Janelle said that is one place that she wants to visit is New Orleans. We've actually been there with Avon, I think, 3 times. We've
Where
been
did they
there
have the
quite a bit.
event?
Where did they have it?
Hmm.
There's a convention center downtown or something. I kind of like staying at the big fancy hotels. I haven't stayed at B&Bs because I'm usually only traveling when I'm going to an event like that.
Right.
And I like to stay at the host place. So, because if they want us there at 9 in the morning, I am not a morning person, so I want to be at the hotel, as you well know. So, right. Um, in DC, I wanted to stay at the place because then
Right.
you're right there. But I like that hotel.
Yep.
That was awesome.
It was, I didn't go into the whole. Well, I did. I saw your room when we went up
Yeah,
to meet you that first day.
yeah.
Um, that was beautiful. The place we stayed in DC was beautiful. My favorite thing about New Orleans by far is the music, because
Oh, yeah.
I love jazz, Dixieland jazz, any kind of jazz. I love
Did
it.
you have good weather while you were over there?
We did.
Oh,
We did.
nice. Oh, that's
Everything.
awesome.
It was comfortable. It
I've
wasn't
been there a
overly
bunch of
hot.
times when I lived in Gulfport, Mississippi. We'd
Okay.
go over there. People over there, that's where they go to have fun is New Orleans.
Right.
So that's neat to drive
Gulfport's not too
over.
far from where I am right now, because we crossed
Yeah,
out of Mississippi into Alabama. I'm in Gulf
yeah.
Shores,
It's close.
Alabama.
So you go, what is it? Gulfport, Biloxi, and isn't it Pascagoula or no?
Yes,
And then
Pascagoula. And
Pascagoula, and then
that is the Pascagoula that was the town in the famous and very meaningful Ray Stevens song, the Mississippi Squirrel Revival.
the very meaningful.
Very meaningful song.
It's funny how squirrels keep coming up in your life, isn't
I,
it?
I had no idea this was going to follow me all of my life, but it will, and that's okay. But I love that song. The day the squirrel went berserk in the first self-righteous church in
Oh,
that
that's a good
sleepy little
video.
town of Pascagoula. Yep. It
You
was
should.
a fight for survival that turned into revival. They were jumping pews and shouting hallelujah. I love that song.
Janet says, I think I might be the farthest away. You are. You are.
Janet's in Ireland, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She reminded me earlier, and I'm just going to say this, and this isn't a topic of discussion. She says, do you know the plane ride from where you are to her is almost the same as the car ride from me to Yonkers? She was reminding me, yeah. Oh, and Peg said, balconies in New Orleans remind me of beads. Oh, shall I? Oh, no, never mind.
at 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 the
Beads.
right time of year, it certainly is. I've actually not gone to New Orleans on Mardi Gras,
Oh, no, me
because
either. Yeah, me either.
I don't do the large crowds that much. It's not my thing. But if I have a good balcony to sit on during all those festivities, and like 18 boxes of beads, I'd wear myself out.
Yeah, and you know the whole thing about the big beads, the bigger beads? You
I
do.
I don't know what you're going for, so no, I don't.
If you're a woman
Uh-huh.
and you want them to throw you the extra special good beads,
Uh-huh.
all the women know they're supposed to do something to get the good beads.
Right. The flashing the that I didn't realize that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I said I would go crazy. I'd be up there wearing
Oh.
myself out.
Okay, I missed
I'd be
that. So
dangling and say, not yet.
Peg says it's like New York City in Times Square, New Year's Eve in Times Square. That's correct. That is exactly like. And Janelle wants to send you something, so you can send her. Says Jeff, you need to send me your address. A friend of mine makes a wooden squirrel that you use to pull out oven racks. Oh, that sounds good.
Well, we're still talking about racks, but now we're going to oven racks. Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
Hey, you took us down that road, not me.
Thank you. No, you know what I was telling you earlier what I was gonna I want to know if this has happened to you actually. although you're not necessarily into marketing like I am. I
Correct.
don't think that's your first thing. What would you say? Like, I think about that all the time. How, relentless self promotion, promoting that just is
Right.
something I think about all the time. What would you say yours is? Storylines?
At this point in my life, yeah, it's storylines.
Yeah.
I'm constantly. We were somewhere today, and I was constantly thinking about, okay, how would that work? I've got the storyline for the next book that I'm doing with Bill
Oh,
Cates.
nice.
I've got some characters built in my mind already, and some things of that
So
nature.
when you were in sales primarily, what was your thing that you focused on a lot?
uh, Keeping my eyes open for prospects, for
Okay.
companies, because I was a business to business,
So it was
in a
more
business
like
to business
a
environment.
networking thing or build your contacts thing.
Sometimes networking, but lots of times just keeping your eyes open. And as you would meet people, asking them what they did, and you were finding out information, and they may or may not be a prospect for you, but it was great practice in starting conversations. And so it was a different animal, but it was like constantly keeping your eyes open. And the better you get at the job, the more you see things are just falling into place
You
because you're
spot
constantly
stuff.
looking.
You spot stuff. You
Hmm.
pick up the clues faster.
Right,
Right.
right,
Yeah. So what we were talking about was when we were talking about this at one too is when you're going about your regular making up content for social media and trying doing the reels and trying TikToks or whatever you're doing, I think it's kind of a skill to recognize when you're getting a little bit of traction. It's a skill to recognize that because I don't always recognize when it's happening, but when I do, I try to capitalize on it because I don't
sure,
want it's easier to parlay a little bit of traction into something long lasting that goes on than it is to keep coming up with new stuff.
right, right,
So I try to grab stuff whenever I can, like the blue hair, like
right,
the Captain Platinum thing.
right.
So has that ever have you had that happen for you? No, not really.
Not so much in this. The closest thing probably in my view would be when I would land an account in an industry, and then I would start working the vertical for that industry. Like if I landed one mortgage company, I
Oh,
wanted to
yeah,
land multiple
the
mortgage
other ones.
companies. And
And how
because then I could say, I just did this one over here, so that and sometimes they would know each other, and so it gave you a bit of a. Oftentimes I actually had real referrals, but at least it gave them a sense that you knew their industry.
you know what I thought of in your case that sounded like it might have had a story behind it is the term fusion points.
Right.
Did that have something like that? That
Uh, the fusion points really grew out of my desire to figure out why some salespeople make it and some don't. And I wanted to know why that happens. How did because I would literally you could take two people who had equal resumes, everything about them looked like they should be very successful, and you put them both out in the field expecting them both to be very good. One would be great, one would fail. And and it was something where I really wanted to know how that decision was made. So then I started researching how in the brain, how the neurology of the brain works when people make decisions, and that took me to the works of Dr. Antonio Damasio, and so basically it was an outgrowth of that. But what it really amounts to, and it's the same thing that happens to you in your marketing that you do, because every decision we make has a combination of logic and emotion. There are no exceptions to that. And when the logic and emotion combine, they're going to produce a decision. Now, how that decision goes is if it's a negative emotion and logic, the natural tendency we all have is when that instance occurs, we don't want to repeat that. We want to avoid that. And so if that's going on and you're causing that, people are going to push away from you. But if it's a positive emotional experience combined with logic, then what happens is we want to repeat that process. We want to stay in there. And it's that if you learn how to work within that process in a sales model, you can influence how prospects say yes, they'll listen to you. You can influence how someone who a decision maker will say yes, they'll do business with you. You can even influence how they'll refer business to you. You can influence how your sales team stays with you. That's some of the brilliance that you have in your marketing. It's an instinct on your part. you make such great connections with your team and with your customers that that provides that positive emotional experience, and it's something you do by instinct. I did it by instinct before I knew what was happening with it as well. I didn't start researching it until literally I was retired from athletics, starting my speaking career, and I wanted to find out what was going on. And when I started putting all that together, it was like this big light bulb went off in my head. And I thought, man, you know what? If I could have taught that to everybody in the organization back then, we had a great run. But if I could have taught that to everybody, I wonder how much difference it would have been made. Because it literally, it's why some people won't quit. It's why some people build great, huge organizations like what you've done, like what I did with Aflac. And it's that bit that some people will kind of mark it off as being coincidence. You're lucky, and it's not. It's you're combining those experiences with the logic of what you're doing, and it's just something that you and I have done by instinct. But it can be done intentionally if you work on it.
So the name itself, though, how did you come up with the name Fusion Points?
I did that actually. I was with a coach. She and I and were working. Her name was 1LT. I'm not even sure if she's still alive. She used to work directly with Zig Ziglar, and the
Nice.
we were honing my message, as getting that part of the speaking thing
Mm-hmm.
going. And my signature keynote was always about finding your why, and that's kind of something that a lot of people tend to key in on. And so we wanted to do a little bit different branding on it, and so we started talking about that. And she and her assistant were awesome at asking the right questions, getting you to think through things, and challenging uh, certain points. And said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but how can we say that differently? And they were very helpful with it. But
That's
what we
awesome.
ended up with at that point was when you put that logic and positive emotion together, it fuses together just like you fuse two atoms, and it's almost unbreakable at that point. That's why my mentor that I had with Aflac for the whole time practically I was there is someone that he's been retired now for probably 18 years. I've been retired for 10. Still love the man to death, and it's because of that fusion. And he did it instinctively as well. But when you're successful at combining enough positive emotional experiences with the logic of what you're doing, people are going to succeed, and it creates a bond. Especially when you're building a team that's just practically impossible to break. You've got to almost intentionally break it, or keep doing a lot of stupid. I almost said a bad word, but keep a lot of doing a lot of stupid stuff so that because the opposite with the collision point, if you keep putting collision points in there, yeah, you can break it. But if you're intentional about, okay, let's neutralize the collision points and let's magnify and intensify the fusion points, then you can make that work.
You know, you said I do it instinctively, but I do think not just with when I'm interacting with team members or customers, but I do think to myself, how can I make this interaction with this other person a positive experience?
Right,
So I want people to walk away saying, I'm glad I know her, or I'm glad
right,
I have her in my life, or whatever it is. I I think that as a general rule,
right,
you know what I mean? I think that falls under the what I want to leave things better than I found them, that
right.
kind of life thing. Um, Eunice said you should post your favorite places to visit each of us. Like we have that graphic about our favorite movies and our favorite
Right.
books. Let's do
We can do
that.
that.
That's
We
very
can do
good,
that.
Eunice. Thank you. And Peg said, what a great suggestion. Oh, you know what I wanted to ask you? Oh, Eunice said, stupid stuff. My mom bought me a keychain that reads, don't do stupid shit, love mom. That's awesome.
Eunice, I would have liked your mom.
Hey, I know you, I didn't mean for this necessarily to be a commercial about Fusion Points, but
Right.
you have a course about this, right?
Well, it's not a course on fusion points. I have a sales course, but I teach the way I teach a sales model is the fusion point structure, and I do
Okay.
talk about it in the course. The course is called Survival Skills for Commission Salespeople in Insurance. But the I do teach it based on a fusion points model. I probably will actually in the future. I don't know exactly when be putting together a fusion points thing. My thought process now is to do it similar to what John David Mann does on writing mastery mentors,
Oh, oh, that's
and do
good.
and
But
limit it to
if they buy, you have a sales course now that people can take, though.
right, right,
Yeah, and
and
they should because you're a master at this. We all joke around and you're a buddy and all that stuff, but you know your stuff.
I can put things together, so
You
I can assemble everything except something mechanical. I'm a mechanical idiot. But when it comes to courses and things like that, I can make that work.
No, I mean, it's like what I was telling you earlier. Peg's on my 1 o'clock, and no one realizes that it's Peg. And we sit here and talk to you for a year now, and no one realizes that you have credentials that far outweigh anything that I've done. They all think I have some credentials, but you have credentials. So,
Oh, I,
but they should be looking up your stuff and reading if they haven't already.
well,
So,
they can always go to fusionpoints.com and they'll read a little bit about that. But that's
ooh, oh, good. Good,
if
good.
in the direct sales model, it's not necessarily something that fits exactly. Someone who is doing direct sales, but they also are doing real estate or insurance or other type sales, yes, it'll fit them perfectly. So,
I said Eunice and it's Lisa. Sorry, Lisa. I thought Eunice, there's probably more than one Facebook user, and
probably
Eunice is
so.
one of them. So sorry, Lisa.
Which Lisa is it?
I don't know. She just said, I'm Lisa. Eunice and Lisa. So it's another Lisa, but I know quite a few Lisas. So yeah, Lisa's a pretty common name.
I've met at least one more Lisa. Who was that? No, I'm kidding.
I told you I know two other Lisa Wilbers even.
That's funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
there are a lot of Jeff West. You could do a local search on the name Jeff West, at least in my area, and you'll get page after page
Well,
after
you
page.
know what's funny? I was thinking about that because you said originally that impressed you that you could Google me and get me. That
Right.
impressed me too. I don't know how I did that. I don't know if it's just the sheer number of times I've done stuff or what, but that is true. You can go if you Google search just Lisa Wilber without the Avon, you get me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that, yeah, I don't know how that happened, but that is true. Lisa Gale, I'm sorry. It's no, your name's not showing up. I think you have to go to StreamYard.com and approve it or something like that. You have to say it's supposed to have the directions on the post. So sorry, Lisa Gale. Jean Porter said there's only one you. I think that's probably lucky for mankind,
Well,
literally.
something that impressed me that you did very early on with the launch of blue hair, as you started using the hashtag, said the lady with the blue hair. And you can literally go, I had literally never searched the hashtag before, but you can go on now, hashtag said the lady with blue
There's a
hair,
whole bunch.
and oh my gosh, it's thousands of probably entries on that now. So
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you know, we should be doing that for all kinds of stuff. Like every
Right.
time we have a project or Peg put Lisa Gale, Peg put in the comments, it's StreamYard.com/Facebook, and you can approve so that StreamYard shows your name. So that's why we couldn't see you.
We,
So
we, we've held everybody over almost 8 minutes tonight.
oh
Here we
yes,
go.
that's right. We got oh yeah, 7 minutes over too. And I gotta get driving. So
You have a meeting.
I'm going on an adventure. Yeah.
You have a business meeting. Yeah, you're fine.
I have a business meeting. Yes, that's very nice.
All
So,
right, everybody, we love you guys.
yes, love you, everybody. Thank you very much. And oh, one last commercial. The 10 card challenge is still on. So go to Blue Haired Card Sender, and it's 10 cards over 20 days for $20.
Great deal.
Awesome. It's a great deal. So go do that. And Peg said safe travels to you both.
Thank you,
Maureen
Pam.
said I had just started using Henderson Lipstick Lady. She lives in Henderson, Nevada. That's
Oh,
perfect.
cool.
Add a hashtag. And
That's right
Lisa
outside
Gill,
Las
or you
Vegas.
said see you next week.
Yep. I like Las Vegas.
Yeah, I bet
Henderson's
you
right
do.
outside there.
And on the what is it, the 19th? You're going to be here next week. You're going to be fine.
Correct.
And on the 19th,
2 weeks from tonight,
2 weeks from tonight, I got
they're
Jenny
going to
to
gang
come
up on me while I'm gone.
I got Jenny to come back again. Jenny, the dominatrix, the direct sales dom. Jenny, she's going to come back, and we're going.
She has a badass podcast.
Yeah,
So.
we're going to be talking about Jeff without him being able to defend himself. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's not right.
One of you has to do that in the middle of the show, all right?
Except I think she thinks that means something different.
Green room.
I'm pretty
Bye,
sure.
bye, everybody. Love you guys.
Okay, bye everybody. Thank you.